All right, so I just want to show you how to use the one-stop wrench here on camera. So I can just kind of show you this where you don't have to see behind the toilet. So the one-stop wrench has two pieces. So this piece fits perfectly in the slot for the 3/8. And sometimes it might be a little tricky getting them in because of the ferrule and stuff. But pretty much you want to send him into there like that. Make sure he's all the way in. And the reason you do this is so it protects the threads on the top. If you were to try and use it without the nut on, I'm going to show you someday. All right, get that off. If you just try to use it like this without the nut and ferrule on the 3/8 part, it can, when you go like this, it can actually break or bend this somehow and mess it up. And then you tightened all that angle stop on there for nothing, because then you can't connect a supply tube. So that's why you want to make sure that the nut and ferrule are on it like that, and stick it in here. Just kind of snug it a little bit just to like get them in there nice and good. And then once you get that far, this is the other piece of the one-stop wrench. This piece fits perfectly onto the 1/2-inch nut here. So now once you have this position, earlier what I was saying, you can kind of use two hands to like kind of grab them together like that. But you're basically, going to tighten it. And when you get to the end, if it's a little tight, you might want to like take, two hands and like kind of pull these two guys together to get that nice crunch. As far as how much to tighten it, you just kind of have to use your judgment. Brasscraft says in the directions, like, once it doesn't turn on the pipe anymore, you're good. The only problem is you can't check it that way on CPVC, or you'll snap the CPVC in the wall. But anyway, that's how to use the one-stop wrench. This one-stop wrench is broken, but normally you put this in and like thread it in and it screws in, but ours is broken, so it doesn't. It's kind of old. But cool tool. I know some other brands make it too, but this is a Ridgid one-stop wrench, as you can see Ridgid up there. And it's pretty freaking awesome. I'll put the description, I'll put the description in the link at the bottom. No, I'm gonna put the link in the description. Here's the other issue I was telling you about. If you can't get the old nut and ferrule off the pipe at the wall from your old angle stop, and you want to reuse the nut and ferrule here, sorry, you want to reuse these. You can reuse them, but here's the thing you got to watch out for. I recommend using the same brand angle stop if you're going to reuse the nut and ferrule that are on there, and this is why. Right here is the depth of how far the pipe sticks in. Some angle stops have a different depth. So therefore, if you have the old nut and ferrule compressed on the pipe, and you try to put on an angle stop that isn't as deep as the old one, when you go to put it on the pipe, it's not going to meet to this right. So it's not going to seal right. Now in some scenarios, you can keep tightening it and it'll pull the nut and ferrule to the new angle stop. But I don't recommend doing that. I recommend, if it's a different depth and you want to use the old nut and ferrule, then cut a little bit of the pipe off so that the angle stop will go on all the way to match to the old ferrule and nut. Now another thing, if you're going to reuse the old ferrule and nut, it's going to be compressed on the pipe already. So naturally, when you put the new angle stop on, you're going to have to compress it a little tighter than it originally was. It's okay, but that's why we recommend putting pipe dope on here. Now some people have a situation where they can't pull the nut away from the ferrule and it's like this on the wall. And they're like, oh, how do I get pipe dope like in there around the ferrule when the nut won't move out of the way? Easy. Just smear a ton of pipe dope all in here, the best you can. Just smear it all in there to get it all jammed in there around the ferrule and stuff. Then carefully with like a pipe or a little pick or something, just clean it a little bit so it is just it's not in the actual pipe. Now if it does get in the pipe and you put the angle stop on and you think there's some pipe joint compound in here, all you gotta do is connect a supply line when you're done and just flush it into a bucket for like 10 seconds. And then you can connect your toilet and you're good.